See Brown in your face.
Have you heard of Everything at Once?
Do you know about Everything at Once?
It's internationally known.
Aliens listen to it.
It's the best ever.
If there's something you're looking for in the 814, or feeling a little bored and think there ain't no more, check out Everything at Once and allow it to be your source. It's that raw podcast that's always showing support, highlighting the scene. No need to take I-90 to Peep or 79 to see how it be. Interviewing your locals with mindsets that are global. Innovators and creators on every single upload. So much going on in the EPA.
Incredible content.
Everything at Once will keep you up to date.
Amazing guests.
What you doing? Come through and hang with Tony and Dave.
Community driven.
Bringing everything at once from around the way. Everything at once from around the way. Hey.
Please listen. We love you. Everything at Once.
Everything at Once.
It's time to introduce this show.
The best show on the face of the planet.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today. We want to thank our Patreon producers, Brian G., Josh W., Ian D., Nick G., and Sadie M.
Patreon, it's an awesome way to support the show and say thanks. You can become a Patreon supporter by clicking the link below and choosing to be an intern, assistant, or producer level supporter.
If being on the production team is too much pressure for you, you can also send any contributions using our Venmo at Everything at Once Studios. We now want to thank all the local businesses who supported this episode. These businesses get the Everything at Once stamp of approval and are critical members of the Everything at Once community. We couldn't do it without them. With winter approaching, are there any last-minute details that you want to change or renovate around your home?
I might, but you know who to call.
Yeah! Ghostbusters!
No, Tony. No, not Ghostbusters. Solid State Construction.
Oh, yeah. Solid State.
Yeah.
Duh. Solid State takes pride in all their home remodeling projects. Solid State specializes in bathroom remodeling, kitchen renovation, window and door installation, custom design work, and more, including painting, flooring, drywall, sidewalk, decks. Get your free quote today by calling Nick at 814-397-7854. Solid people, solid product, Solid State Construction.
You know, Tony, with all these renovations from Solid State, I think we might have kicked up some bad energy around here. Yeah, oh yeah. Luckily, we know just the people to go see.
I know it this time. It's Ghostbusters.
No, Tony! Our friends at Cauldron and Thorne!
Wow. I feel really dumb right now, and I can't believe I didn't think of Cauldron and Thorne, the world's largest witchcraft and metaphysical shop, with everything a person needs to channel the spirit world.
Practice some self-care.
Find enlightenment.
Curse your enemies.
Protect yourself from your enemies.
Bless your friends.
Cleanse your space from negative energies. You can check out all the magical wares available at for these different practices we all love and enjoy at Cauldron and Thorne, 2724 West 8th Street, or online at cauldronandthorne.com.
This week, we have an incredible guest for you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Everything at Once. Today we have Missy Monacella and Pam Perone in the studio with us, representing Monacella Massage. Thank you guys so much for coming today. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
We are. So I have a bunch of questions. I know I said earlier before we started that I didn't really write anything down, but I definitely have some questions for you in regards to massage, the benefits to it, and what it brings to people. So my first question, kind of random. Everybody talks about knots in their body, and you can feel them when you're giving somebody a massage or when you're touching somebody. What are they actually? Because I don't think they are actually knots.
Yeah, nothing is tied. Yeah, there's no
You don't really
knots.
turn into a pretzel.
No, I didn't think our tendons were actually wrapping around each other and like making physical knots.
I've read a bunch of different descriptions from different professionals about what is or is not a knot. Like,
Okay.
Go
the
ahead.
textbook version is metabolic waste that accumulates in areas of tension in your muscle. And back when I went to school, they said lactic acid, but now they say that's controversial and it's not lactic acid.
It's not lactic
Yeah.
acid.
It's just a mixture of just waste and tension. You know how when you get tense, you just tighten up?
Sure.
It's nice to stretch your muscles out and just relax. And there's a lot more technical stuff that we can get into. And for some reason, we are not right now.
We're lost.
No, I'm about to get technical.
No,
I
bring it to me.
I don't know
love
what they're
this.
called,
I love
but
this.
the individual muscle fibers, what I've heard is they're supposed to slide over one another. That's how you flex and extend.
Okay.
And if they get sticky, they can stick together, and that's what causes the knot.
So
Okay.
that's
one version of it.
dehydration.
Kind of like if you cook spaghetti and it gets stuck together, because
Right.
I can't cook. So
My spaghetti gets stuck together too.
Yeah,
I like
so
to
like that.
pretend I'm a good cook. So
That's a great analogy of it. Just imagining that spaghetti stuck to each other,
Yeah.
and massage just helps to flatten it all out and get it moving again. Because the muscle spindles they cross over, and if they aren't moving in a proper line, then it's holding it up. It's not moving properly. You feel that tension. You feel that headache. You get the back pain, the shoulder pain.
absolutely, that makes a lot of sense in regards to what is actually making that accumulation is just the fibers are getting stuck together and they aren't
Yeah.
moving the way they want to. So then you guys come in and you massacre me and break my back and all
Break
of
it
my
up.
body and get those back in order, get them flowing right again.
If it's like you're taking the knot out, you're getting it back to where it's supposed to be. God, it hurts so bad.
oh boy.
It doesn't have to hurt. That's one of the things that Pam and I talk about a lot. And I think as we are become more experienced in the field, new massage therapists are like, let's get in there, let's pound it. But you can actually give a lot more effective massage with lighter pressure and moving, because if I'm going to push on you hard, your natural response is to curl away and pull.
Right.
So the massage isn't always as effective, but there is a need for deep tissue. But in general, you don't want to expect to go to a massage and get beat up and be sore the next day and have bruises and feel like your bones are
Yeah.
broken. That should not happen.
Some
If
people
so-
love that though.
Some people like it. Some
They
people
do.
live for that. Some people don't go get massage because they're afraid that that's what it is. And one of my missions is to try and expand the definition and the understanding so that people don't automatically think you have to get beat up, because you don't. And I know there's a lot of very popular techniques. People love digging and stretching. And if you do that to me, my body thinks it's under attack. So yeah, I'd love to push the gamut, the spectrum of massage from gentle to, yes, we can beat you up if you want to, but
Right. And there's different types of massage too, like Thai massage. I know there's a lot of stretching involved. There's not really any typical massage like you would think, like a deep
Correct.
tissue or whatever.
yeah, it's,
And one thing I want to say about Thai, so we have Tammy Moon, who's a massage therapist that offers Thai massage at her office. And she has an autoimmune disorder, and she's not afraid to share it publicly. We've talked about it, published about it. And for her clients, she has people that are drawn to her with fibromyalgia or other things that have been told by the doctors to get massages. But for her body, like Pam said, it feels like you're under attack if you have the deeper pressure.
Sure.
So what I love about our eclectic team is that there's people like Carl, who that will get in there and really, athletes love him, and he digs into those hips
Right.
and he uses the tools to really get in there. But then there's massage therapists like Tammy that can meet you where you're at and just give a lighter massage. So if you've had a massage and you're not happy, find another therapist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I fear getting those types of deep tissue, hardcore body massages. I would so much rather have somebody that's gentle. And I feel like exactly what you said, a lot of it gets lost in translation, that a gentle, enjoyable, pleasant, relaxing massage can still be very beneficial beyond just being a pleasurable experience.
yeah. And they're not levels either. I've had people say, well, what's the next massage? It's not like a video game. It's not, you don't have to beat the boss to move on. You can get whatever you want, whenever you want. And it can be different from what you needed last time. It could be you could try a different type every time. And we have
Sure.
very light techniques, very intensive techniques, things that are really outside the box in some cases. You can try it all.
So what are some of the different things that you guys offer at your office?
Okay, let's think. I know we currently offer cupping, which is very trendy right now. That's the one where you end up looking like you got attacked by a squid.
Right. I think
Sometimes.
I feel like Michael Phelps brought that one into
He did.
the
He really
picture.
did.
Yeah.
And that's almost the opposite of a traditional massage. You're pulling on the tissues instead of pushing. There's craniosacral treatment, which is another very, very light technique. I'm not sure do we have anybody offering that right now?
Me when I open my schedule.
Okay. But that's another very gentle method. We have
Craniosacral, is that like just your head?
No, it can be
No.
systemic throughout the body. It's
Okay.
just a very light pressure. I remember when I took the class, gosh, like 20 years ago in the Poconos, they're like, hold a nickel on your hand. And the weight of the nickel is more than the pressure that you give.
Oh, wow.
So if you think of like that pounding headache and just the soothing touch when you just touch your eyes or around in your temple area, how soothing that feels, that's a good kind of explanation of how it goes.
Interesting. Because when I think of cranial, or I think of like cranium, like your head.
Yeah. Well, it's craniosacral. The
Craniosacral.
sacral is the other end,
Oh, okay.
So
the tailbone.
go ahead.
Oh no, just it's like alpha omega.
Yeah.
It's the alpha omega of
Yeah.
massage.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. So basically, the dumbed down version of craniosacral is that your brain and spinal fluid have its own rhythm. So if you think of like the lake tide coming in, it's coming in waves evenly. And with craniosacral therapy, sometimes the left side and the right side of the body are out of sync. So it's like, imagine you're staring at Presque Isle and the water is coming on one side really fast and the other side really slow, and it kind of just balances it.
That's
It's a really cool technique.
That sounds really cool, and it makes a lot of sense because I know that when a certain part of our body might be out of alignment, the other parts of our body often like to compensate. They like to pick up the slack for, like, if my right shoulder is hurting me, my left shoulder is probably, or the left side of my back is definitely making up for it, and there needs to be equal attention to both sides. Okay, so we got craniosacral.
We've got lymphatic drainage. That's my specialty, manual lymphatic drainage, which is another very gentle technique, which is great for acting on the immune system and for systemic swelling and inflammation. So either visible swelling or like an inflammatory condition.
Okay.
So, for example, if somebody had surgery and has post-surgical swelling and you're having trouble getting rid of the swelling and uncomfortable, I can work on that. People with lymphedema, people who have allergies and migraines, we can work on the sinuses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a very gentle and rhythmic technique. It's more of a skin technique than a muscle technique.
Okay.
So also a good choice for those people who don't want a lot of pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, is there any other big ones that you guys want to talk about? Or that we should know about, that people should know about?
So we're running a special in January. Surprise, we just came up with it. It's the beginning of the year.
Congratulations.
We're offering $15 off a massage with the extra 15 minutes of reflexology. A lot of times we forget about our feet. We're on our feet all day, and having that extra time devoted to it is wonderful. And the principle of reflexology, it makes no sense to me. Like, I went to college to be an engineer, and I'm like, why, if I push on my foot here, does it affect my sinus? Does it affect my brain, my back? But I've been doing it for over 20 years, and when you push on those areas, you'll notice the client say, like, oh, I'm having problems with my back, and I'm looking at the sheet going, oh my gosh, this really does work. So it's fascinating, and we've been having a lot of people request it over the holidays, so we're offering that now.
Oh, awesome.
It's fun. And everyone on the staff does that. It's rare to find something that everybody across the board likes and does.
Cool. And who doesn't love getting their feet rubbed?
Very few people. There are some.
One.
There's always one in a crowd.
Right, yeah.
Too ticklish.
Yeah, that's the biggest reason why.
So how do those things connect? Do you know?
So there's meridians in the body and it's energy line. So, but that, again, that technical part of me is it the ball of my foot that has tension because I wore high heels the other day that's causing my pain elsewhere, or vice versa? So there's so many elements to it, but the point is it feels good and people notice results.
Right. And our whole body, I think a lot of people really identify our body as like individual parts rather than a cohesive whole. And recognizing that the system is all attached to each other in one way or another leads to like a much more holistic approach. Like what I said kind of earlier with like one shoulder being out of place and the other shoulder making up for it. So I guess it would make sense that like if our feet, because everything, whenever we're standing upright, it's all balanced on our feet in one way or another. So those different points obviously connect and influence the different aspects of our body and how our spine sits and how our hips sit and everything that's a kind of a collective unit there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool special. And a lot of people will definitely benefit from it. Do you guys have any like big success stories that you can think of? For people getting like people that are weren't expecting or were expecting or have found like major relief?
So I'll give an extraordinary example with the reflexology.
Sure.
So this was when I was first starting out. I had a client that had health complications and her doctor didn't know what was going on. And I was working the reflexology and she kept saying, "Ow, it feels like you're hitting me with a match, like at that spot." And so we looked it up and it was the gallbladder. And I said, "I know this sounds weird, but ask your doctor to look at the gallbladder." And she had to get it removed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Because again, the logic part is like, this doesn't really make sense.
Right.
So that was a cool thing. But we have a lot of clients.
Yeah. I had something similar with somebody who I felt something gritty or whatever, and I looked it up and like, that's your thyroid area. And yeah, fast forward, she had to get her medication adjusted because her levels were way off. And gave me chills because I didn't necessarily know that that was really a thing. I know on paper it's a thing, but I'm like, oh, it is a thing. So it's cool.
It's really cool to me that you guys are very much, like, I feel like a lot of people look at massage therapy as, like, not really, I don't know how to say this in a good way, as, like...
Just say it, man.
Quackery.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you guys, I would consider, like, most massage therapists very much, like, medical practitioners. You know what I mean? It's not like it doesn't get the same, like, respect or... acumen as like being a nurse would or being a doctor or being a chiropractor, but it's still very much a medical practice that, and you guys are healing people.
Very much so. And you'll even see
It's okay.
is there a glitch?
Yeah, we're still good though.
Okay. Yeah, you'll see disagreements even within the massage community from between professionals who, you know, my massage is better than your massage, or there's a one true way, or that kind of nonsense. But yeah, there's a lot of feeling that it is a medically based profession. In some states, they're even licensed under the medical board.
Really?
The study for it, it's a lot of things that end in ology, I like to say. A lot of technical information. And it's pretty rare that you could be actually harmed by a massage therapist, but we need to know what we're doing, you know?
Absolutely. And I think the more that you know, the better your service that you're able to offer is, obviously. And there's so many different parts of the body and so many different aspects of it. And I could imagine an amateur definitely messing somebody up if they don't know what they're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they find one of those knots and they're just going at it really hard and they're pulling something in a direction that it should not be pulled in, obviously that's going to cause a lot more strain than it is like healing benefits.
It is, and there are some things that we need to do that are counterintuitive. Like if there's scar tissue after surgery, that's a whole niche in itself. And you might think you want to try and demolish it, but sometimes that is not the correct answer. So
in what way? Can you go a little bit deeper on that for me?
For example, it depends on what healing stage you're in. If it's from a surgery and that tissue still has to bind together so you don't like come apart again, you don't want to be pulling it apart or demolishing it.
Okay.
If you've been cut into, for lack of a better phrase, it needs to heal. And there's also cases where maybe there's a restriction or a deficiency somewhere in the body, and whatever knot or tension is being felt is actually splinting it or making the movement more, I lost my train of thought, but
More painful?
yeah, like Yeah, it's not like I feel something tense, let me demolish it. It needs to be a little more thought than that.
Like what's causing the tension? Was it just an overstretch of muscle, or is there something like impeding it?
Or even just to be like, here's a bump. What is that? And they're like, suddenly they're like, oh yeah, I have a screw in my leg. Forgot to tell you that. Like, I mean.
Yeah, you feel that stuff.
Yeah.
So with scar tissues, those will actually like impede people's movements and stuff.
They can, and there are entire studies devoted to how to deal with that. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you guys have to train like every year, learn a new skill, right?
Every 2 years, there's
It's
continuing education requirements.
To maintain your license, and you guys are both licensed.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Everyone on staff is licensed.
everyone on staff,
That's a
of course.
massage.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the places that don't? I know you can't really speak for other places, but I'm sure that there are places that don't have like licensed massage therapists. Is that still like legal to practice massage, or can you still call it that, or is there?
It is currently illegal to manipulate the muscles and offer massage therapy without a Pennsylvania license. It's illegal to have a different license and not be granted reciprocity. There was just a spa in Ohio, just across the border, that was just closed because of sex trafficking, and that corporation had places in our area, so I'm sure that there will be lots of stuff in the news. Like any industry, there's people that do it legitimately and that
Sure.
don't do it legitimately.
Absolutely. And that, do you feel like that reflects poorly on you guys, or on like normal massage therapy? Because I know there's like a difference between being a massage therapist and being a masseuse.
Yeah,
Masseuse is
there
like
is.
the dirty word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
technically in Pennsylvania, it's still an NPI code for masseuse.
It
But they
is.
did add massage therapist finally.
yeah.
What's an NPI code?
So an NPI code is what you bill yourself as, what category you are located, like the checkbox you put in the
For like
government.
insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys accept I could use my insurance to get a massage?
Oh no, not medical insurance.
Boo.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
gonna fight.
Dang.
Sometimes they'll say yes, we offer it, and then they always come back like denied. No reason
Boo.
given.
We do accept auto insurance if their company covers it. That's the only kind we can take. But we can take auto accident clients.
Okay.
But we don't want you to get in a car accident.
No, don't
Obviously
do that.
not.
for
Yeah,
massage.
definitely.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And you don't really, I feel like that's not something that my auto insurance is really upfront about. Like, oh yeah, if you do get in it,
Yeah, you might have to ask.
might have to ask.
And it comes with a referral from your doctor. So we don't diagnose. You can't just come into massage and say, I was in an accident, I have whiplash. We have to have that diagnosis code from your doctor in order
Right.
to process.
And then from there, I can get a couple massages or whatever to get
Yeah,
fixed up.
depending on
Hopefully,
your plan.
cool. And do you guys make do you get a lot of doctor referrals?
We have
Yeah,
been,
it comes and goes, ebbs and flows. But yeah, it's
We have
pretty steady.
gynecologists, physicians, OBGYN, I just said that.
A lot of
Plastic
chiropractors.
surgeons.
A lot of
Yeah, lots of
chiropractors.
chiropractors.
Plastic surgeons, they usually bring in the lymphatic patients for me. Yeah.
That's interesting. And do you think that that's something that's changed over time? How long have you guys been in massage therapy?
I am celebrating 26 years in
Oh my
massage, so a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that the doctor, the medical views have changed at all on the values of massage therapy or massage therapists?
Absolutely. I mean, back when I went to school, the programs were shorter and there weren't as many continuing education classes. Like I took many classes over and over again because the span of massage therapy modalities wasn't there. And over the years, massage therapy is getting more respected as an alternative health medicine, and doctors are referring. When I started over 20 years ago, it was very rare to have a partnership with a doctor that would recommend massage. They might recommend physical therapy or chiropractic, but it was very rare to see massage referrals.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're seeing more of that. I've had people come in recently who were referred by physical therapist, by chiropractor, by their general practitioner, by a holistic practitioner. So it's not necessarily covered by insurance, but they'll say, the same way they'll say, like, change your diet or get some
Yeah.
exercise, join a gym, try massage. So
That the culture around massage and medicine, I feel like, is changing and growing, but still has some aspects that I didn't expect would be kind of so prevalent in massage therapist culture. Like a lot of the massage therapists that I know are a little bit more on the spiritual side and practice some other things like Reiki and sound healing and light therapy and all of those things.
That's one of the things I love about massage is that it does share borders with several other fields. Like you've got the strictly medical, you can get, cancer therapy. You've got the metaphysical side. I know massage therapists who do Reiki. I did train in Reiki, but I don't do it because I've also got the ADHD and I don't know if that's the client or my brain just taking a little ride. So I backed away from that. I don't feel confident in it, but a lot of people do it.
Aromatherapy is another one too.
Yeah, and it smells nice. I think everybody agrees that aromatherapy smells nice.
Sure.
As far as its therapeutic value, like, should you use it in place of chemotherapy?
Definitely not.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of disagreement on that. But, I see some fights in the more metaphysical fields. But
why do you think that culture is so prevalent with massage therapists? What do you think draws them to massage therapy?
I think because it's a very caring profession and it draws in people who want to help and heal and hold, and even people who aren't metaphysically inclined will talk about holding space or connecting with someone,
Yeah.
Well said.
Which do you think comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, gosh.
The metaphysicalness or the massage therapy brings the metaphysical into
I don't know.
You don't know?
It really is
Probably a horse apiece. Probably depends individually on the different people that come in, for sure. But it is something that's really interesting, and something that I think has value. Maybe not. I don't know. It's. I think having a holistic approach and things that benefit your mind, whether or not they're actually benefiting your body, or still benefiting your body or your person as a soul.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, aromatherapy might not be great or for treating chemotherapy or any other sort of things, but it does have a relaxing effect on my brain when I smell some lavender or smell some other good smells.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely still a benefit. It may not be classified as like a medical benefit. My doctor might not tell me to go home and smell some lavender or whatever, but I still feel like it has a tremendous benefit holistically to our body. And where we separate medicine and where we separate like things that feel good is becoming a much grayer area than it used to be.
Yeah. And there's something scientific about the placebo effect too.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's
50%.
Even if it's not proven, if I feel good and I go home feeling better, I'm going to sleep better, and
it all ties together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I think that's really interesting that as our knowledge base grows further, we continue to expand our horizons, and these things that were so black and white, like medicine and what you do to heal yourself, are becoming different things, you know what I mean? Are becoming more well-rounded things.
It's a rubbery thing. I mean, you start with, if you go back through human history, you start with like the spiritual, philosophical answers to things, and then it's just counteracted by like a very rigid, like, this has to be proven by science. Everything that's not is kind of like, not to use dirty words, hogwash.
Yeah.
But now it's like going back towards like a centering of sorts. Although everything that I've ever looked up, which is funny, it made me think of it, everything I've ever looked up on Google that involves something that's like a preventative measure that's not like straight up medicine is like, this has not been proven.
Yeah.
Go see a gastroenterologist, do this, take, a medicine that the FDA has approved. So there's still a little bit of that conflict, like, on the surface for sure. You got to do a little digging to, get to the good stuff.
Right. And I think that's a lot of medical propaganda too, from the pharmaceutical industry, from big medicine, from big insurance, from all of those people that want to sell you a treatment and not a cure.
Well, I think now
Correct.
too, doctors say it's stress. Like your blood pressure's high. This is going on. A lot of it is stress induced. I mean, there is physiological stuff going on, but stress and anxiety. I hear so much from clients, and like Pam said, do what makes you feel good. If massage helps reduce your stress and your anxiety, then do it. If going for a walk in the woods helps, go do that. Like, do what works for you.
Yeah. And even down to how people are within their massage session. Like some people chat the entire time, some people zone out, some people fall asleep. Even that, people have different responses to massage and people feel better in the session in different ways.
Do you guys do like a consultation before like a first time, like a client? Just because I'm thinking there's so many different things that could be done or different like types of massages. If I was walking in and I don't know anything about like how massage therapy works, I want to get a massage.
Yeah.
I would not know what the hell you're talking about,
Well, it's funny because when we were setting up our new website, we literally have a title that's called Just a Massage. Like, are you unsure what you want? Just come in, let us know, and we will customize your massage for you based on the techniques. We might not be able to offer like hot stone massage that day because they're not warm enough to do it for that session. But we can do a mixture of the deep tissue or relaxation. And a lot of people hear Swedish massage and they're like, what is that? I don't understand. Yeah, and it's just a nice relaxing massage. But like Pam said, some people find it relaxing to come in and just talk because nobody listens to them in their life or something like that. And some people just want to veg out. So we do have that. We don't have a separate consultation appointment, but we do have that conversation to say, what do you want? Because we don't read your minds and we don't know, if we say on a scale of 1 to 10, what pressure do you want? Well, everybody's scale is different. We don't know, and you don't really know how you feel that day until you're like, oh, that hurts, or go deeper.
Yeah. It's very important to put the clients first and meet them where they're at, especially a new person that isn't familiar with this process.
Yeah.
When people come in, I find myself addressing people differently, whether if someone says they've had massages in 50 different countries, they get one every week, then I'm like, okay, you know the drill. I'll be back in 2 minutes. If somebody has never had one before, I will literally say, here's where your clothes go. Your earrings can go in here. This is for your shoes. And then I will tell them, you are free to chat, you can zone out, you can sleep, it's completely up to you, this is your time, and offer a little more guidance, especially if you can tell that they're just nervous.
Yeah.
And sometimes just saying things in plain English, so.
For sure. And is it a lot of new clients or return clients for you guys?
It's a good mixture.
It's a mixture, yeah, it really is, because we also live in an area that gets a lot of travelers in and out. We have a convention center, we have Presque Isle, we have things that draw people here, sports conferences. So we see a lot of people on the weekend who are just here for an event or a vacation and get a massage as part of that.
Sure.
We also have a pretty good roster of regulars, so to speak, who we see over and over again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, good mix of both clients. Are there people that have been coming to see you guys for years, or do I need to see a massage therapist for a little while and be done, or depends on the situation?
Yeah. There's people who've been coming to me for 8 years, and I've been doing this for 8 years. Probably means I'm doing something good. That's good.
Right, yeah. Killing
But
it.
on the other hand, if you're bored with someone's routine or you think you might need to try something different, and even when they're within our office, I will tell people literally, like, if you want to be pushed through the table and out the other side, Carl is your guy. I'm not your guy. Or you like being stretched, so like maybe you should try Tammy. Or, yeah.
So you really have somebody that fits almost every need at your guys' location.
Yeah, pretty much. And even outside of the office, there are resources if there are specific diagnoses or needs that people have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I love about our team, is that we'll refer within the practice and we'll even refer out as long as it's what the client is looking for. We're not afraid to do that because, like Pam said, massage therapists are drawn to this field because we truly want to help people make them feel better.
Right.
That happens with lymphatic work here and there. If I see people who have chronic lymphedema and it's a case that needs more than I am qualified to do, it's actually a disservice for me to hang on to them. I need to refer them to somebody who can help them.
That's super important to be able to see that too. Do you guys how do you feel about the massage therapy community in Erie? I feel like there's a lot of massage therapists. There's a number of different places. Is there something special that separates you guys from the rest, or something that you might like about other places?
I feel like we are different, but I'm not sure I can explain why.
Yeah?
I think everybody in our office is laid back. People don't take themselves too seriously, I think. People communicate well with each other. Sometimes they don't. And then the people who don't tend to just float away after a while.
Yeah.
That's what I love. Like when I walk into the break room and we have somebody saying, I had a customer that did this and I did this stretch, but I didn't quite, release those muscles. What can I do? And watching them dive into a book together and help each other. That's a community that I rarely find in massage practices. And I think that comes from Pam has a background in working with people and in education, and I have a background in that. So we have fostered this community where we really want to learn and help and learn from each other. And it's just wonderful. And we are starting to see it because we're active in the massage school and in the community. So we're starting to see that culture shift. The massage world 20 years ago when I started, it was very cutthroat. Like if you walked into somebody's office, they're like, oh, why did they have my client? That's my client. Well, no, maybe they had got a gift certificate or a coupon, or maybe you did something they didn't like. It's just like some people like jeans and some people like sweatpants. You can't control it.
I feel like that's a big change that's going on in culture and in business in general, is the feast or famine mentality is kind of disappearing or kind of leaving us. And now it's not a race to the bottom or a race to the top. It's not a race anymore. You know what I mean? There's plenty to eat at all the tables and everybody wants to share what's there.
Yeah.
And everybody does better because of it.
And collaborating and lifting each other up ultimately benefits everyone, I think. If you're catty within your own profession, people are going to see that.
Right.
And think that's what massage therapists are. I like that we all support each other. Not all. I mean, we have a variety in Erie, and there's some I'm comfortable with, some I'm not. But they all have their place, and they all have a clientele that they reach.
Right.
So
it's not a one-size-fits-all type deal for sure.
Nope.
And are there certain people that you feel like you'd like to see more of? Do you feel like there's a more of a need for people to relax or to ease their stress, or is it more or do you prefer more people that are in like medical need?
It really varies based on the person. Like myself and Abby, we love to get in there and figure out like what's causing this pain. You've had it for a while and really dig in and figure it out. And then like Tammy, she just takes it to another level and just helps people just to relax. And she likes the people that, have been frustrated in the medical world and they're just exhausted, and just to bring that emotional release of somebody is listening. I actually overheard a client leaving our office. Her husband picked her up and she said, he asked her how the massage was, and she said, it was wonderful. She listened to me and did what I asked. And I'm like, how sad is that?
Right.
What are we missing in the industry? We are here to serve and to help the person. So listen.
And I think that's a common thing in the medical practice in general, not just massage therapy, is that people are expressing these symptoms and they're feeling like they're not being listened to by whoever their medical practitioner is, And it sounds like you guys are getting a little bit past that and actually listening instead of just dismissing somebody's, pain level or how they're feeling or what's going on with them.
I feel like that's at the core of something that I'm working on, and I'm hoping will be a series of classes eventually. I'm at the very, very beginning of it. But the concept of adaptive massage therapy and inclusive massage therapy and client-centered care, like not just what I know and what is my signature move, but what do they want? You may have a great move for the hips, but if they're tactily protective of their hips, then don't touch their hips. You know, it's about what is the best thing for the person on your table.
Why do you think people don't listen to each other?
Pride, I guess.
I'm getting a little deeper than you. I know this isn't particularly your thing. I'm just getting a little philosophical.
No, I mean, it can be. I can use the example where I've had a couple of reviews absolutely trash me on Google. And I can sit there and say, like, man, this person is insane. That is not me. But I also need to look at it and say, is there a kernel that I can take away from that? And sometimes, usually there is. There's something in there I can learn from. Most of it is unhinged.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think we should never get so full of ourselves and so proud of ourselves that we can't acknowledge where we need to learn and grow. That's really important.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I think that looking at it from a place of meeting the person where they're at rather than a place of privilege, like I feel generally pretty good in my body, and it would be easy for me to say, you know, yours isn't that bad. Why don't you just be good? People are trying to apply their own, you know, feelings or aspects onto other people, the things that they're feeling, their symptoms onto other people. And I think people project a lot.
And there's people who come in and will apologize for their body, and they don't need to, but it's what we've been trained to do. You know, I'm sorry I barely fit on your table. I'm sorry I didn't shave. You know, you don't need to, but.
Right.
I'm not sure what the correct way is to respond to somebody. I'm still working on that, but yeah.
And I think a lot of insecurities too. Like if somebody is quick to dismiss somebody, like, oh, you have, say I come in and I have hip pain or whatever, and you're like, oh, it's not hip pain, it's actually lower back. And maybe I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's my lower back then. This person knows more than I do. And I end up getting treatment for something that I don't need or don't want. You know, it wasn't my lower back. I was right. And there are probably times where you guys are right too. You know, maybe it is the lower back that's affecting the hips that you need to work on. But having the ability to advocate for yourself is something that I think a lot of people miss in the medical field in general.
And
you know
that's
what I mean?
talking with people, not talking at people. Not just telling you what I know, but you're the expert on your own body. And yeah, it's the listening again.
Right.
And like if somebody said, oh, it's my hip that hurts, and the therapist says, no, it's your back, that's not proper explaining, because it could be like, okay, where do you feel it in your hip? Well, what I'm feeling is that it probably stems from here. Is this sore? Yes, it is. Okay, that's the correlation.
Yeah.
And
Or
just using...
Yeah. Oh, you're feeling it there. Well, let me tell you why.
Right.
You know.
Have that conversation rather than just mansplaining, for lack of a better term, to them.
I don't know. I think that, you know, if you're in a profession for long enough, like I'm going back to thinking about doctors, and I totally agree. You gotta like advocate and stand up for yourself. But if you've been doing something for like such a long time, and like 99 out of 100 times what's being told to you has the same formula that leads to the same answer that you know is going to be the answer, it can be difficult to not jump to it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you know, there's like so much higher of a chance that I know what I'm about to tell you is the correct thing. So I don't think it's necessarily like the over-explaining or, you know, mansplaining or however you said it all the time. You still got to be able to stand up for yourself, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing when a professional is like, I think this is what it is. I'm almost confident. I think the issue is if it doesn't work.
That's right.
And then you come back and you're like, that didn't work, going like, okay, let's try something else, instead of like, well, maybe you're a hypochondriac because I'm right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
Or you must not have followed my instructions, as opposed to,
yeah,
well,
you didn't do your aftercare.
Let's pivot. Let's try something else.
So one thing on that is when, I love how you said when they come back, they say, oh, that was a little bit too sore or something. That's the feedback to really, after you have a massage, pay attention and see what you liked or what you didn't like or what hurt, so that when you come back, you can let us know and we can adjust and go from there.
Right. And it's having that ability to listen to afterwards. You know what I mean? Instead of blaming or saying it was something else or not really listening. And plus, I feel like a lot of people that go to massage therapy have, and maybe I'm just making a wild assumption, which I've been known to do often, but I feel like massage therapy may be somewhat of a last resort, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, nothing else has worked. My back is fucked. I don't know what else to do. I've seen the chiropractor. I've seen the doctor. I've had surgery. Everybody tells me that I'm fine. And now I don't know what else to do. And this person is telling me this, and I don't, the hard part's getting them to come back, to believe, to build that trust, to build that therapeutic relationship and that rapport with people, rather than leaving them frustrated and wanting results that they're not finding. Would you feel like that's an accurate assumption, or does that happen?
I think it's the bell curve. You get that end, but then you get people that are like, oh, I've heard about massage, or I've had a massage before and it felt good and I wanted to get there. So it's just that bell curve that comes in. Right.
So, most people are probably pretty normal, pretty standard, but you probably get a number of outliers from either side of the spectrum.
We'll see the opposite too, as you mentioned, the people who are, more into the alternative wellness, and in some cases are afraid of the medical system.
Sure.
And like, we're not doctors, we have to stay in our lane and stay in our scope of practice, but also know, like, if we're looking at something and that looks infected, I can't say that looks infected. But I can say, I think that's beyond me. I think you really need to see somebody like a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And do you guys have a certain doctor that you like to work with?
Not necessarily. I mean, we
just
have
their PCP,
we have some
or their...
providers. If we think they should see a chiropractor and they don't have one, we definitely have names we can give them.
Cool.
And it's conversations like, do you like to be physically manipulated? Do you like the activator? What do you look for? And I think that's when somebody calls the office and asks for a massage, or they ask for a referral for a doctor or chiropractor, it's like, well, what are you looking for? And a lot of times people are like, I don't know, to feel better.
Right.
So it's like, what are you not looking for? And then that helps us to pinpoint. So we're not just giving a blanket, like we always refer to this doctor. It's like, we have a network, and who is best for you, and give them some options to try.
Very holistic approach. And I think that massage therapy is tremendously beneficial to lots of people. And I appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I
fun.
mean, it's good to see the cultural shift, because I feel like even 10 years ago, and I've never really been one who sees the doctor a lot or anything, just like generally a skeptical person of the medical field, and very much more of a believer in treating the disease rather than the symptoms. And I see massage therapy is part of that solution of treating the disease rather than the symptoms, because everybody wants to sell you a pill that'll fix your, like, oh, your back hurts, take a Vicodin, you know? And I feel like that's been pushed on people for so long, and it's led us in a bad direction culturally, individually, societally.
It kind of goes back, though, to, like, what we were talking about earlier. Like, the Vicodin might not be, because this is the thing I think about massage therapy, and I do get massages regularly. But like, the Vicodin might not be the best choice, but the Vicodin is covered by the insurance. So
Right.
you might not be paying a whole bunch of money, and everybody's got to survive. But like, I know people like will see massages as like a luxury.
Sure.
As compared to a medical necessity, or even if it is a medical necessity, when you have the barrier of your insurance not covering it, you might not have the money to be able to go and get one all the time. You got to take the Vicodin because you're in pain and you can't afford
Sure.
the alternative.
Well, and I think that's why there's such a variety. Like, we're one of them, we're upscale. I have highly trained massage therapists, so we are a bit on the pricey side, but you can go to like the local massage school to students that are learning, and it's cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's YouTube videos and books on massage, and if you have, a loved one that wants to learn with you, you can do trades. So there's a variety of things. Massage doesn't have to cost any money. There's self-massage books out there and stuff, but
Sure.
variety.
No, that's a very important and relevant factor too, that like you can get a massage from a family member or from a friend, and I really appreciate that you're supporting just massage therapy in general and not just your, not Monacella Massage. Like, oh, you have to get a massage from us. Like, no, you can talk to your family member, you can talk to a friend, you can talk to a loved one, whoever. You can do it to yourself. You can buy one of those guns or watch a YouTube video and learn about how to use these techniques and these methods to benefit yourself, even if you're on a smaller budget. And that's just like promoting overall health and wellness for human beings.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
Promoting health of human beings. Absolutely. That's a great phrase.
Yeah, I better not find it on one of your promotional
New
things.
tagline.
No, that's great, and a very relevant and important thing, because I always think of massage very much as like something that I have to pay for to go get done, or pay a licensed professional, but there's always other options and stuff, and could probably benefit myself a lot more if I did that. I do go get massages every now and then, periodically though too.
One aspect of massage that we forget about and don't talk about often is the power of touch, because as people get older, think about when you're a child, you're attached to your parents all the time. And then as you get older, not everybody hugs their parents anymore. And then they become widows or widowers, and they don't have that touch anymore. And so as massage therapists, sometimes we're the only people giving that human need and that interaction.
Sure.
I've heard like
8 hugs a day.
8 hugs. I was gonna say 7, 8 hugs a day. I've only seen it in memes, so I know that's not accurate science. But like, I've seen it enough to believe it to be true.
Right, yes,
I think
I
you
agree.
need to test that and get back to us.
8 hugs a day. No, I feel like I definitely feel better if I have 8 hugs a day.
Oh, for sure.
If I have 8 hugs a day, I'm doing like really good for myself that
Well,
day. I made some friends or something. I don't know what happened, but
Well, it's not like the excess. Like, everyone feels good. Like, if you got 20 hugs, you feel great. I think it's like you need 8 or 7 a day to like be the most optimal human being you can be. Like, that's what you're supposed to get. Like, God, that's a lot of hugs, you know?
right.
A lot of physical touch.
And
No.
I mean, physiologically, you could even make the argument that it's a neurological thing, and all the nerve endings in the skin, it does something to you physically
Sure.
to have that skin manipulated and touched. So,
And our I forget the word, the biogenome or whatever. All the stuff that lives in our body and
Oh,
on our
yeah,
skin and stuff like that.
I know what you're talking about. I'll
Yeah,
think of the
bio
word.
something. I
I'll
don't
think of the
know.
word in about 6 hours.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me know then.
Okay.
Well, I'll add it onto the
All right.
comments or something. No, but I think that there's so many different aspects of just being touched that are like important. Like, I feel like it's a huge dopamine release. It's good to be around other people. It helps us fight. I'm going to go out on a limb and say fight infection or fight bacteria or fight whatever, because it keeps our body in a good space to regulate itself rather than looking for external things to regulate it. And
It's like the emotional healing.
the
too.
emotional healing too, you know, it's good to just get a hug.
Definitely.
I think one of the happiest times in my life that I'll always remember, it was a thing at school, and they started us off by like hugging each other and telling each other that we loved each other. And it was one of the happiest moments after like a half hour or an hour of everybody just going around at my school, like hugging each other and telling each other that we loved each other and all this stuff. Like, you're on the fucking moon. Like, you just feel
Yeah.
amazing, absolutely incredible. And, so it makes a lot of sense to me that like 8 hugs, because I have like a personal anecdote of like being hugged a lot in a short period of time and feeling incredible afterwards, you know?
I think one thing too is we're plugged in so much, so we're always getting stimulated with phone and music and just stuff getting thrown at us that when
Podcasts.
Sure.
we're in, yeah,
We're the worst. Part of the problem.
Podcast.
we
Yeah.
are. What are we doing here, Pam?
We're
We need to
actually
leave.
we're part of the solution though in our own way
Yes.
by doing long form podcasts instead of like 15-second reels or 15-second. You actually have to pay attention to
attention.
Yeah.
instead of just like scrolling.
So for massage, we ask that you put your phone away, and as therapists, we are unplugged. It's dim lights, relaxing music. I mean, we're paying attention to your body and not focused on our lives, so we're disconnected, and the person on the table just gets to relax, and they don't have kids yelling at them and the phone all these
Sure.
buzzers going off all the time. It's just quiet. And how often does it happen for a half hour, 45 minutes?
And meditation in itself is also incredibly beneficial, which is what I think that kind of relates to. You know what I mean? In a lot of, it may not be like a known practiced meditation, but I think for a lot of people, it is a meditation that they're unaware of just by unplugging and being aware of your body and what's going on and sensing the feelings and just unplugging for a little bit and being focused in that moment. And that has been shown without a doubt, as well as like I'm sure massage therapy in a lot of aspects to have tremendous benefits on people's overall well-being and wellness. And I think that might be the only time a lot of people meditate, unfortunately, it was really hard for me. I worked in the mental health field for quite a while, and trying to get people to meditate was like impossible.
Well, and there's also my background is special ed. I've worked with special needs people for a long time, and the emphasis on productivity and doing, always got to be doing and creating and
accomplishing.
I'm looking for a word. It's some it's probably too political anyway. But yeah, that you have to have some value besides just being you. Mm-hmm. What are you doing, as opposed to just being?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Although I do love that feeling of accomplishing stuff.
I do too.
I also understand the importance of disregarding capitalism and just doing things for you. You know what I mean? And not being a worker bee all the time, or a drone, or whatever you want to refer to yourself as, that machine that just constantly is out doing things and making money, or whatever it is that's driving you forward. That there has to be time for emotional relationships and friendships and personal well-being and personal care and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Massage is definitely a great way to lock into that, you know what I mean, to give yourself that time that you need and practice self-care and unplugging and de-stressing and shutting off the phone and the computer and the emails and all the nonsense.
And if your friends are looking down on you for it, you could say, I have a knot.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of the
I'm in
knot.
pain, gosh.
So
My fibers are sticking like spaghetti.
yes,
Right.
that's why I'm going, not because I want to zone for an hour. I have a knot.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd mess that up. I'd be like, I'm spaghetti. That's what they told me to say. I'm spaghetti. Like, what are you talking
They
about?
got to straighten me back out. Pull me straight. No, this has been a super fun conversation, though. Thanks to both of you for taking your time out today and talking with us a bit about massage therapy and Monacella Massage. Tell us a little bit about how the people can find you, please.
So Monacella Massage and Kinesiology is located in downtown Erie in the Renaissance Center at 1001 State Street. We're on the 13th floor, suite 1322. You can go to our website, which is www.monacellamassage.com. And our phone number is 814-838-3622. You can give us a call or send us a text.
That's right. Set up your appointment. Go see Pam or any of the other incredible massage therapists over there. They're all fantastic. You heard it from Missy and Pam first. They got somebody that can take care of whatever ails you. And we appreciate all you guys who stayed in, listened, hung out with us for a while, listened to the conversation, maybe learned something. Thanks to all of our sponsors, all the people who support us on Patreon. And you guys are the best. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful night and peace it out.
Goodbye.